In this video, we will discuss chemical analysis, including laboratory analysis, spot testing, and result evaluation. What is chemical analysis? So, chemical analysis is the method used to determine the chemical composition of a material. Okay, it can be done by different methods, X-ray emission, OES, or wet chemistry. So, among PMI verification methods, laboratory chemical analysis is generally considered the most accurate because it can identify and measure many elements with better precision. The first topic is laboratory analysis. So, lab analysis is a normally used when need a highly accurate result. In this method, a small sample may be removed from a material and sent to the laboratory. The laboratory performs detailed testing using suitable analytical techniques. So the advantages is accurate chemical composition and it evaluates many elements. And it is useful for confirmation and dispute resolution. But the disadvantages is it is slower than field PMI methods. It is very slow and may require removal of material. And next one is removal of material. It may not suitable when immediate result is required at site. So lab analysis is accurate, but it is not always the fastest method. Now let us look diagram 1. This diagram compares lab analysis and chemical spot test. On the left side, we have a laboratory analysis. It shows laboratory flask. This is the laboratory flask, which represents detailed chemical testing. So, laboratory analysis can be done by X-ray emission, OES, and wet chemistry. So, lab analysis gives high accurate, that means more accurate, and can check all requirement elements. But it is slower. It removes material from the component. So, on the right side, we have chemical spot test. So, chemical spot test is a quick field method. A reagent is applied to the surface and the color change indicates the presence of a particular element. For example, if we want to differentiate SS316 and SS304, we can check for presence of molybdenum. SS316 contains molybdenum, but SS304 normally does not contain molybdenum. So, if the reagent color confirms molybdenum, it supports identification of 316 over 304. But spot test is usually qualitative. Not fully quantitative. That means it may tell us whether an element is present or not. But it may not give exact percentage like laboratory analysis. So, lab analysis give accurate result and detailed result. And spot test is quick but qualitative and more subjective. Okay. The next topic is trade-off. Trade-off between lab analysis and field methods. Field PMI methods like XRF, OES, and LIBS are faster. They can be performed directly on the site. But laboratory analysis may be slower because sampling, transaction, and transportations, testing, and reporting It takes time. Reporting it takes time. Also, laboratory analysis may require removal of material from the component. This is important because cutting or grinding a sample from a pressure retaining component must be controlled properly. So, before removing any sample, approval and procedure must be followed. The decision depends on the job requirement, code requirement, client specification, and criticality of the material. And the next is chemical spot testing. Chemical spot testing is a simple and quick method used to confirm the presence of certain elements. In this method, the test surface is clean. The chemical reagent is applied. Based on the color change, we identify whether a particular element is present or not. The example is molybdenum test. Can help to differentiate SS316 from SS304 because 316 contains molybdenum. 304 does not contain molybdenum. So, if the spot test confirms molybdenum, the material may be 316 or another molybdenum bearing alloy. But we must be careful. So, a spot test should not be treated as a full chemical composition report. It is mainly a quick confirmation method. And the next topic is accept or reject. After PMI or chemical analysis, the result must be evaluated properly. Here, in range, accept, out of range, fit for service or reject. This means the result must be compared with applicable specification or acceptance range. For example, if the material specification requires chromium between a certain range, nickel between a certain range, a molybdenum between a certain range, the actual result must fall within those limits. If all required elements are within the acceptable, accept the material and document the result. Do not immediately ignore it. If the result is outside the range, do not immediately ignore it. So the item should be treated as non-conforming or suspect. So the further evaluation is required. Okay. Now let us look at diagram 2. This diagram shows the decision making flow after PMI result. First we get the PMI result. Then we ask, is the result in specification range? If yes means the item is accepted, but it must be properly marked and documented. If the answer is no means, the next question is it fit for service? This means engineering or responsible authority must evaluate whether the material can still be safely used for intended service. Okay, intended service. So if the item is fit for service, it may be accepted on a documented basis. This is not a normal acceptance. This must be supported by proper engineering review and approval. If the item is not fit for service, then the decision is reject and replace. So this diagram gives a very important inspection message. PMI is not only a number. It must be compared, evaluated and documented before final acceptance. The next is sampling rule. One failed item gives the whole inspection lot is suspect. This means if one item in a batch fails, PMI or chemical analysis we cannot assume the remaining items are correct. For example, if a lot contains several fittings and one fitting is found to be wrong material, the complete lot becomes suspect. Why? Because the same batch may have material mixer or wrong marking or traceability issue. So, when one item fails, the inspection should be expanded. Normally, the action may include testing more items. Okay? Testing more items and reviewing sheet numbers and checking traceability and verifying MTRs and segregating suspect materials and increasing the sampling percentage. This is very important in a material verification program. And the last one is records and traceability. So every PMI or chemical analysis result must be traceable. Okay? The record should include procedure used, date of testing, instrument or method used, calibration status, and operator name, material verification, material identification, sheet number or item number, test location, and result acceptance decision. Without proper records, the test result has limited value. So, for example, if we only say PMI accepted, but do not mention which item was tested, which instrument was used, and what result was obtained, then traceability is weak. Good documentation is essential for audit, quality control, client review, and future maintenance. So, chemical analysis is used to determine material composition. Laboratory analysis is highly accurate and can evaluate many elements, but it is slower and may require removing materials.
Thank you for watching this video. Please follow our page for more upcoming videos.